Welcome to the Hard&Soft Pro Wrestling Podcast.
Yo. You know who it is. The H-A-R-D, the hard one. No, not the Hardy Boys, but we are Shoot Brothers. You know who you're rolling with. Big Hard in the house. And you know I'm always with my tag team partner, the Big Softy. What's going on, Randall? How you doing?
It's a hell of a hot tag there, Big Hard. What up? My brother, not Devon, not Bubba, not Jim the Anvil. That's Big Hard, the hardest one I know. What's up, Big Hard?
Oh, you know me, brother from the same mother, as we like to say. But, just hanging out here. We're about to get on to the Raw Netflix era. We got about 2 days until that episode drops. It's a pretty exciting time to be a wrestling fan. I mean, last night we had our first ever 3-hour SmackDown. So I guess that's how it's going to play from now on, since USA is losing the 3-hour Raws every Monday. So now they're going to be gaining the 3-hour SmackDown, which isn't a bad thing, but we'll just see how it plays out. I think the 3 hours causes for a lot more filler. So last night's episode, I don't know if you caught it, was actually pretty good, but that was the first one. They were trying to do a lot of stuff, but you could see on some of the stuff it was kind of drawn out, especially the Jey Uso and Bloodline entrance. I mean, that was drawn out, but I mean, for a good reason. I mean, that crowd just goes nuts for Jey Uso anymore. Mm-hmm. And I mean, Jimmy and Sammy came along with him for that. They didn't do like a 3 separate entrance, which was pretty cool. But I mean, when we went to Raw and Jey Uso came out, it's like one of the best parts of being at Raw is just seeing Jey Uso come out and do the yeet, and the whole crowd is yeeting. Michael Cole, I don't want to see you yeet in public. But,
great.
It's freaking awesome. Oh, I love Michael Cole. But, we're embarking on this Netflix thing, which is definitely new. And, I guess we're going to see if there's some hiccups going on with buffering issues like we saw the Jake Paul Tyson fight. Although I don't think we're going to get as many viewers as we had for a fight like that. But I do predict the first episode getting pretty high volume. And, I mean, I think it's going to draw in a lot more people that don't have cable. So there's a lot of wrestling fans out there that don't have cable, that don't get to watch Raw and SmackDown every week. And there's also people that don't watch wrestling that have Netflix that might be scrolling on Netflix and be like, oh, what's this, Monday Night Raw? Let me check this out. It's a live show. All right. And hey, this first Raw seems pretty stacked. I think it could suck in some new viewers.
Hell yeah. And let's get into it. I mean, what's going to be different? What's going to change? I think – well, number one, you're going to see a lot of – that's a hard mug you got there, Big Hard.
Hard and soft.
Good to you. You're going to see a lot of the WWE on Netflix, meaning you're going to see probably a 3-hour Raw. It seems like they're going to go. Now, I don't love that. I think, again, like you said, you hit the nail on the head. It's going to be more filler, more advertisements, more commercials. A 2-hour show is the perfect thing. Now they could do 1 week 3 hours, the next week 2 hours, the next week 90 minutes. Who knows? Streaming's a little different, but you're going to see a lot of wrestling on Netflix. I think you're going to see new shows. You're going to see behind the scenes stuff. You'll probably see a lot more reality TV stuff like you saw from the Bellas and the Miz and Miz and his wife. You're going to see a lot of that. As far as their day-to-day programming, I think as it goes on, you'll see more of an Attitude Era-esque feel to it, meaning cursing, it's more edgy. They're still going to keep it kid-friendly. So I don't think you need to go cuss fest to make it a great show. I don't think you need to – but like you might see more women in a different way. Again, you're not going to see – you're not going to have those parameters of cable television. Number one, a great thing is going to be you're not going to have the fan chants blurted out. That was probably the worst part of you have a holy shit moment, and it's like, dude, I put my TV on mute. What's going on here?
Yeah. What is going on here?
The first show, you're gonna see 60 to 70 million viewers. Now you would think now the streaming service on Netflix is going to be able to handle that. They're prepping for that. They should be ready to go. But the first card is stacked. They know it. They're going to bring out all the stops. You'll probably see a lot of legendary figures there. And yeah, it seems like it's going to go 3 hours. Now, they spent 34 years on Netflix, Big Hard.
You mean USA?
Oh, I'm sorry, on USA. When they merge to Netflix at 8 p.m. on Monday, you're going to have Travis Scott there. You're probably going to have more of a cinematic. That's what I'm excited for, too. Like, what does their show look like? Now, it's going to be a professional wrestling show, but will you see more different production? How is the arena going to be laid out? You could see some differences. You could see, I don't know. We'll see how they lay out their card. If it's more, I don't know. I think it will be different, though. I think you'll see, like Travis Scott, for example. You're going to have him performing probably. You're going to see a lot of differences, so I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of different changes. I think what they're going to do is keep a lot of it the same, but just tweak on some of the nuances. Like you said, maybe some more cinematic. They might get better detail oriented with the whole Netflix. Maybe they'll have some Netflix team helping them that do like the original series. Although I don't really know if they need that help, but they might get some more revenue in that way, like more production help.
How much say does Netflix have on their programming?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it is a live show, and Netflix, I think, what did they have? One live show before? I mean, they did the Jake Paul fight, and then they've been dabbling with some football games this year.
Yeah.
And it was funny. I think it was Christmas Day where they had the games on Netflix, and Liv Morgan was at the one game. So I think the crossover might be a little bit more too. You might see some more stars from other avenues of sports, entertainment, stuff like that coming to Raw, and vice versa. If they have a live Netflix special, you might see some WWE stars go there, which is a good thing.
Yeah, right. And you're going to see probably too them start to compete with kind of what YouTube does, right? Like, you're going to have a stream show that you can log on in the morning, real time, and you're going to see on Twitter, right? You'll see on X, The Rock came back. Okay, I'm not going to go back. I'm logging into Netflix. I want to see that, reaction. But I don't want to watch the 3-hour show. I want to go right to that clip. So you're going to probably see Netflix put out clips of what happened in real time. And things like that. But I mean, it's $5 billion for 5 years of Monday Night Raw.
That's crazy.
So that's a hell of a paycheck for the WWE.
And it's just going to draw in a lot of people for Netflix. I mean, a lot of people that are on Peacock right now, once they start transferring all this WWE material over to Netflix, I mean, Netflix is about to get a huge spike in revenue. Right. And, if they do good, it means that people aren't just going to be logging in for 1 month and getting the free access for a month and then canceling their subscription. If they're getting excited about Raw every week, it's a lot cheaper than paying for cable to watch Raw. I mean, I'll tell you this, I don't really watch much on cable, right? But, we have it at the house, and, really the only things I watch is Raw, SmackDown, sometimes a Dynamite. Yeah. And, I do usually record them. But I'll tell you, though, if I don't watch it live, I usually don't even want to go back and watch it on the recorded version, unless I stay off of socials and don't see any spoilers. You know what I mean? But the whole point is watching it live, which is it's going to be cool because, like I said, Netflix never had a live weekly television. And I think there's still going to be commercials. So, it'd be nice if they would just have to do a 2-hour show, no commercials whatsoever. You just get 2 full hours of content, and that's all you need. But there's definitely going to be ads and stuff like that. So you're not going to get away from it. You could pay the upgraded cost all you want, and you're still going to get some type of ads. And just like I seen this week on Dynamite was the first week that they streamed on Max and TBS at the same time, and where TBS, when they go to commercials, they do the side-by-side view, so you're still seeing the action along with the commercials. But I heard on the Max stream that it just went full commercial. You got none of the picture-in-picture. So we'll see. I don't know. I mean, we're just gonna have to see how this plays out. But I think it's a good step in the right direction, and I'm excited for it because this first one is going to be packed. And there's all those reports that The Rock isn't doing WrestleMania this year, blah blah blah. Get out of here with that crap. I mean, if Rock doesn't appear on this Raw Netflix, I will be very surprised. Yeah, I'm not going to say that I'm going to do like a bet, like cut my beard off or anything, but I mean, I would almost bet that The Rock is going to be there.
Well, he's already done. I mean, why would he come back at Bad Blood, do the 3 thing on the neck? He's intertwined. And also, I mean, he obviously still has it. The Rock completely took over last Mania season with all the pivots and the turns. And he's not getting any younger, and he's still got that in-ring thing. So he wants to get a couple more matches in before he can't do it no more.
Yeah, I think it would be smart for Raw and for Netflix. I think Netflix would almost push for that. I mean,
well, yeah, it's a great time
to huge viewership.
I don't think there's ever been a time in wrestling where there was more legendary figures of the sport readily available for their last hoorah or able to make appearances, but also enough current talent that are so over to the same. You have such a blend of, like, you have the Cenas and the Rocks, and we'll probably see Taker do something on Monday, and Hogan still has a great name. He's still in the but then you have the LA Knights and the Jays and the Codys, the guys that are so over now. You have the perfect amount of stars. I think one thing that it means too, WWE is going to go more global than it's ever gone with that Netflix presence. So we'll probably, it's going to suck for the guys in the States like us that we're probably not going to get a lot of pay-per-views. More Monday Night Raws and SmackDowns will be overseas. You'll probably, before 2030, have a WrestleMania overseas out of the States.
I see that next year, not this upcoming, but next year's Royal Rumble is going to be in Saudi.
In Saudi, right.
Yeah, which is crazy. I mean, one of the big fours, and I know they're getting huge money for it, but those big fours are like, ones that we want to be able to go travel to sometimes. I know. And I mean, just seeing that the Royal Rumble is going to be over there just shows you that the possibility for a WrestleMania and not just Saudi, but other countries as well, because now the countries that don't have cable TV and don't get the USA Network are going to be able to watch Raw on a daily or on a weekly basis now because Netflix is global. So
yeah, and plus the crowd reactions they get overseas. I mean, the AJ Styles and thing that he did against Cody with the pops they get overseas, they definitely push the folks in the States to do it.
Oh yeah. So I'm definitely excited for it. I mean, we got
into this match card, Big Hard, on Monday Night Raw on Monday. How do you see it all shaking out, dude? Let's go match by match.
Yeah. So just one last thing, just to 34 years on USA Network is pretty crazy, and to think that I'm pretty sure I was watching the first Raw. 6-7 years old. And I can't say that I've watched every single Raw, up to this point, but it's just crazy seeing how it went from just basically being like a taped show that was put together for an hour, went to the 2 hours, and Attitude Era really kicked off things and went to a lull for a while. They went to Spike TV for a couple of years, I guess, but USA has always been the home, and as they are keeping SmackDown, it's definitely going to be a new era here. But, I mean, these 5 matches that we have right here in front of us, I mean, this is like a pay-per-view quality show right here. I mean, I think the one that we have first is going to be the main event, which just completely baffles me because there's another match here that I think should have been the main event, but maybe that'll kick off the show. But we'll start with CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. I mean, last Monday, USA got their money's worth with that promo that they did between CM Punk and Seth Rollins. That was absolutely incredible.
Completely unscripted.
I mean, blurring the lines is not even a thing. You know?
I say it every time when I watch them. It is the modern day Rock and Austin. Hey Rock, hey Austin, go out there. You have a blow off match at Mania. You got 4 weeks to it. We're gonna give you 10 minutes. Go out there, make your entrances, cut promos. That's exactly what they do.
Even Stone Cold said that CM Punk melted his television. I mean, just the back and forth. I mean, CM Punk mentioning Mr. McMahon, basically, without saying his name. And you knew who he was talking about. And then Seth Rollins mentioning the fact that, you know, CM Punk went to the competition. And what did that do for you? And I don't really like when they bring up the, you know, when each company kind of attacks the other, because it's like that low-hanging fruit. But, like, the way that it was said was just like, man, you really cut him down. And then CM Punk just comes back with something even more volatile. It was like, man, when they got to the back, they were getting high fives from everybody. And and I don't care. I think people might have thought, well, how could Punk say that? Like, bring up the Vince McMahon stuff. But I mean, when he said, like, I didn't like the guy in charge, but he seemed to love you. Like, oh man, so many different ways you can take that. I mean, with everything going on and the stuff you heard in the news, it's just wow. Incredible.
I think that's when pro wrestling. First off, you're gonna see. I think this does kick off the show. Okay. And I think they're going to start with this.
Well, I think this is the main event. I think they said this is the main event.
That's interesting to me, because I would have thought Roman and Solo, if they're planning a Rock thing, and we'll get into that, I thought that would close the show. How I would book it would put this first, because you got to understand, Raw's on Netflix, the Pyro show, the packages where they're going to do, you know, the history of Raw on USA, whatever. Crowd shots of legends. Boom, Travis Scott performs the new intro for Monday. Whatever it's going to be, then you're going to have Triple H come out. You know, he's going to, you know, you haven't seen nothing yet, whatever. You're going to have to start hot after
you haven't seen nothing yet.
I would go Punk and Rollins. Now, the greatness of what this feud has been since, you know, Punk debuts again on Survivor Series years ago or a year ago, and Seth is blowing a gasket. And if you remember, Chris, Seth cut a promo right before some kind of pay-per-view they were doing, and Seth was like, you know, someone brought up, what do you think about CM Punk in AEW? And he's like, stay away from Phil, stay away, you're an asshole, whatever. They were already planting those seeds, man. But again, when you have two guys that want to be the best, you always hear Attitude Era. The competition in the locker room was crazy. You got two guys that want to upstage each other and push each other, and they're unscripted, and these guys can go and go and go and talk you into the building. It's awesome, and this is, to me, what I love about professional wrestling. I always say, when it's great, there's nothing better. I think in this match, and Big Heart, I want to know what you think, how this is going to go. I think they're going to give us just enough where you get the entrances of both guys. I do not think that this is a wrestling match. I think this goes all around the arena. I think it's a fight. It's going to be a count-out DQ finish. You're going to get just enough where you're like, holy shit, I got to see more. You're not disappointed where you thought you were going to see Punk and Seth and they didn't give it to you. But it's going to prolong the story into the Royal Rumble. You're not going to get a Steamboat Macho Man Classic.
No.
Okay? You're going to get a fight. You're going to get weapons. You're probably going to get things around the arena. Crowd is going to be hot for it. You're going to get just enough, but it's going to be a schmoz.
Yeah, there's total schmoz written all over this, because there's no way they're just going to hot shot this match, you know. And yeah, there already is a feud built up and stuff like that. But I mean, no, episode of Raw is not getting the blow off for CM Punk and Seth Rollins. That is WrestleMania quality, or, you know, main event of a Big Four pay-per-view. This is going to continue, like you said, to the Rumble. I think they're both going to be in the Rumble, and it's going to be something where the story is going to progress in the Royal Rumble match, possibly go to Elimination Chamber, and maybe a blow-off at Mania, unless they have other plans. But yeah, it's going to be good, though. I'm definitely looking forward to it, and like I said, the whole card is pretty much stacked. And, we were saying Roman Reigns versus Solo Sikoa for the Ula Fala. I mean, I don't understand how these two matches are on the same card for just a Monday Night Raw. I get that it's the first Raw of Netflix, but you don't even have to go this big to make this a big night, But this is crazy. I don't know how that match is going to end either, because I feel like that can't be a smosh finish. I feel like that one has to have a decisive winner. And if it's The Rock coming out and helping Solo, or if Solo loses and then The Rock comes out and he's kind of like, Solo, I put you in charge and you failed. Now the final boss has to come back. And I feel like The Rock has to come out at some point in this match. And this I'm excited for too. I mean, Roman Reigns matches, I love them. They're nice and slow. They tell a good story, and you know what to expect. And you don't need the flips, the flops, the crazy wrestling moves. It's all about the story. And that's exactly what this is going to be. So that's why I feel like the CM Punk and Seth Rollins, maybe the Roman Reigns and Solo, maybe they kick off the show, because you're going to have to kick off with something hot. And there are some other matches here too that I think could either kick off the show or main event the show. So
yeah. Well, yeah. So when it comes to Roman and Solo, again, everything for me, I'm trying to think, how do you book this to get to where you want to go? Where you need to go is WrestleMania, right? So I'm thinking Mania. I'm thinking Roman and Solo. There's heat there. They have the bloodline. They have the different bloodlines. They have everything you need for a story. I think it's got to go a couple minutes. I think Roman at some point, you'll see, will have the upper hand. He's going to get to that ooh-ah spot, and I think Rock's music hits. Now, is there interference before that? We'll see. But I think when Rock's music hits, you're going to see Roman kind of get distracted in a confused way, right? Because there's not necessarily heat between Rock and Roman yet. But I think you're going to interject it this way. I think Rock music hits, Roman's looking up towards the ramp. You even see Rock's kind of silhouette in the darkness, the lightning bolts. He's got the Gucci'd out outfit. Solo takes advantage, gets the 1, 2, 3. At that point, Solo gets the Ula Fala, and Rock there makes his commands, right? And now you start building the heat between Rock and Roman, right? You have the Ula Fala, you have the head of the table. Rock on Monday will be granted and crowned the High Chief of the bloodline.
Maybe he has Solo give it to him.
Is ordered to put the Ula Fala around his neck. You will see High Chief a la Peter Maivia. You will see High Chief Rocky Maivia make his debut as the final boss on Monday. And that's where you're going to kick off into Mania season. Now, I don't believe we're going to get Rock versus Roman for the Ula Fala. I think you're going to tie Cody into that too. Because again, there's heat there with Rock and Cody, and I think we'll get into kind of our Rumble and Mania predictions, but I think main event night 2, the way I see it booked, the way I see it laying out, is The Rock versus Roman versus Cody for the undisputed title. And also you'll see the blow off, maybe not of the bloodline thing that you could save, but at least we're going to build into this kind of 3-way main event of night 2. That's how I see it.
Yeah, that's a pretty bold prediction, and I could see that kind of going down, just like you said. So that's going to be another great match. And then we have Rey Mysterio and a surprise partner versus New Day, Kofi and Woods. This new Day thing where they turned on Big E, and it's like they didn't even have to attack him. They just kind of just tore him down with the words. Great. And they are now getting Dominic Mysterio heat where they can't even talk.
I'm so surprised how natural heels they are.
Yeah, I mean it's great, and they come out and the fans don't even let them talk. It's wonderful. Now I'm wondering who the mystery partner is, because I don't think it's going to be somebody from the LWO if they're making such a big deal about mystery partner. Now I know Penta is newly signed with WWE, and
I think
Ray Phoenix can't come yet because he got some time added to his contract over in AEW. So he's sticking it out there. And honestly, I think the Lucha Bros are a great tag team, but I feel like they're good on their own as well. Maybe you could just have Penta. I mean, Penta, he's an awesome in-ring talent, and he's got the cool look. So I think that could be Mysterio's partner. I'm just not sure if they're going to have him come in as a heel or a face. So if they want him to come in as a big face, then yeah, this is a great spot for him to come in with Rey Mysterio. Two masked superstars going against the New Day. New Day can take the L here. They don't need the win. They could use the loss against Rey Mysterio. They can keep the feud going. I think if they win, that just kind of just ends it at that point. So I think what they need to do is just have New Day lose here, give the crowd a little bit of, an up feeling there for that match. But I think it's going to be Penta, but I'm trying to think of who else it would be if it was somebody else. I don't know.
Well, it's crazy, Chris. I mean, when this all goes down, this will be the greatest Raw in the history of professional wrestling. When I think of greatest Raws, I think of the debut. I think of the spin the wheel, make a deal, Eric Bischoff, the TLC match that main evented like in 2002 era. But this will be the greatest Raw in history.
I mean, the best one to date, I think, from the whole year of 2024 was the one where The Rock went off on Cody in the parking lot. It was raining, and he's beating him with the belt. And, I mean, that was just like one of the best Raws I've ever seen. And I think this is actually going to top that one.
Well, yeah. And Big Hard, hardest guy I know. I think the Penta gimmick advertisements that they're laying out is getting it's the crowd's ready for it. He's a big enough name for the professional wrestling community. They're excited for it. They're getting pops. And if we flash it back, ever since the Lucha Brothers faced the Young Bucks on that pay-per-view in that steel cage, I remember going to your house and we watched it live.
I remember it was buffering like crazy.
Yeah, I know. But even still, we walked away like that was a tremendous match.
Oh God,
the blood, the way that AEW does their cage, I love too. I think they do a great cage. They probably invest a lot of money into that. But ever since then, that's a WWE-esque tag team, the Lucha Brothers. Now, again, I'm trying to think of WrestleMania in my deal here. So the way I see this going down, Big Hard, I think when Tuesday morning hits, I think we'll be talking about the Punk deal with Seth. I think we'll be talking about Rock making the appearance and where they're going with Roman and him. But I think this will be right up there too. Penta's debut, the music hits with Ray. These guys are going to put on a clinic against the New Day. Again, every show deserves a spot fest like this, and you're going to get it. I actually, Big Hard, I see them going and winning the tag team titles against DIY, right? That's the heel, and I think they're leading into Mania. Now, stay with me, Big Hard. This will be one of the premier matches on WrestleMania that we'll actually be excited to watch. It's going to be Ray and Penta as the World Tag Team title champions versus Dominic Mysterio and Logan Paul. And I think Logan and Dom will take it, and they're going to make a run as the biggest heel tag team since the Dudleys or whatever. They're going to get tremendous heat. And I think that's where they're going to kind of pay off the Dom versus Ray thing, and I think you're going to see a great match at Mania for the titles.
That's not bad. And I know Logan Paul said recently that he retired, but I mean I feel like he was advertised for this Raw anyway, so I think he's going to be there, and I think that was kind of just him talking crap.
I think you're going to see Logan Paul go on a run where you see him win titles. Like,
yeah, I mean he's already got the United States. Superstar, man.
He's going to take the tag team titles. You're going to see him Intercontinental picture, and you're going to see Logan Paul put his run together to actually be one of the greatest wrestlers of his time.
Yeah, I think he's great, and he definitely has the in-ring capability to go sky high, and he definitely has that factor where everybody hates his guts. So, right. I mean, you can't teach that.
Big Hard, we got Liv Morgan and Rhea. Now, to me, I don't know. Great talents. Both wrestlers are super over and have all the talent in the world.
They're great wrestlers.
To me, it's a little stale where the Liv and Rhea and Dom and the Judgment Day. It's a little stale. I don't see Liv and Rhea going into WrestleMania season together as opponents. I think Liv's doing a great job with the title. I don't think Rhea needs the title at this point in her career. I'm torn how this is going to go. I think Liv will go over, continue her title run, but you'll almost see a blow off where Liv is going to, whether it's Becky coming out, making a big
I can see that
pop.
Charlotte.
You're gonna Charlotte now. I don't see Charlotte and Liv so much. I see when it comes Mania season, and we'll get into it. But I thought we would have saw the cash in of Tiffany Stratton at Mania. We saw it last night on Friday. I think they're definitely going Tiffy and Charlotte.
Yeah, that's probably going to be a Mania match right there.
Yeah,
I think Rhea's going to win this match. I think, like you said, the feud's getting a little stale. It's just because there's nothing new being added to it. It's just kind of the same rinse and repeat thing every week. And I think that had a lot to do with the injuries, stuff like that with Rhea. But I think Rhea wins this, and I think the Judgment Day is going to be splitting up. So that's kind of my prediction. I think it's time for Judgment Day to kind of be just done and over with. Finn is a star on his own. I think he can kind of do his own thing. And JD McDonough, he's gotten a good rub off of the whole Judgment Day thing. And I think Liv can lose the title, and then she can still keep going with Dom. And maybe Dom leaves her, and then that kind of turns her face and maybe puts Dominic. I mean, that might even turn Dominic face if he leaves Liv Morgan. So I don't know. I think in the future, though, I do like what you said about Dominic and Logan Paul, but I do think that Dominic is going to be going face. And I think when he does, it's going to be like a massive face. The crowd is going to love him because they hate him so much. They love to hate him, but I think they'll want to love him just as much. So
yeah, and I think that's, you always gotta you get people over as a face, and then you turn them heel and get them really over, and then you can do whatever you want. We'll see, man. Now, Jay and Drew, it's interesting. You know, Drew had a hell of a year with Punk, and Drew is finally, for me, like, when his music hits, like, he's over. I want to see Drew in a big spot in Mania. I don't know where he'll shake up so much. I think it's going to be with the Bloodline and Sammy. You had the match with him at Saturday Night's Main Event. Mm-hmm. I certainly think Drew and an iteration of the Bloodline will face the Usos and Sammy at WrestleMania. I think that's where it lays up. I don't know where this match goes. I think, again, you're going to get the huge entrance and a great heel counterpart for Jay and Drew. How do you see it going, Big Heart? I'm not sure.
I mean, I want Jay to win, but I feel like Drew's got to win this. I feel like he just came off the losing end of that CM Punk feud, which he still looks good in losing. But I think he kind of needs to go through and start destroying everybody from the Bloodline. I think I like the reasoning behind it is because, you know, he doesn't like Roman Reigns, and all these people teamed up with Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns isn't doing anything for these people. They're just doing everything for Roman Reigns. And, you know, Reigns still hasn't done anything for anybody but himself yet. Even though he's a face right now, he's still acting like that heelish Roman Reigns, where it's like, you know, I'm using you for my War Games match. You know, you saw it with Punk, the little shades there where, you know, Punk came to help. And I know he only came to help because of Paul Heyman, but, you know, Reigns even during the match, even after Punk saving Reigns, even after they won the match, Reigns still didn't really want to acknowledge CM Punk's existence. And I think Drew's on a roll right now. He came out last night on SmackDown and gave Cody Rhodes a hug and told him, I'm not here to hurt you. And then, like, as he's leaving the ring, he's telling him to watch his back. And then, boom, KO comes out. But I think we're going to get an appearance from Cody Rhodes at some point on this Raw Netflix, even though he's a SmackDown superstar. I still think the crossover is going to be pretty big on this night because, you know, obviously Roman and Solo are SmackDown too, and their big match is happening on Raw, two SmackDown superstars. So I think we're going to get appearances from pretty much everybody that's a big name. But I think that Drew's going to win this, but I'll tell you, I can't wait to see Jey Uso's entrance because these people are going to go nuts.
It certainly seems like Jey is going to intertwine himself into the main event title picture at some point in 2025. It's definitely warranted. The guy's been in the company forever. He's ready, man. Now you said, you know, I think we see Logan Paul in some iteration as well, cutting a promo, maybe backstage. You're going to see Cody Rhodes in some way interject himself. How do you see John Cena coming back? I mean, honestly,
I think that's a good promo section.
Yeah, but I think it's gonna get. I think he's gonna be out there cutting his promo. How he's gonna take on 2025. He's gonna. I don't know if he is officially announced, but he's gonna say I'm gonna be in the Rumble. And I think what you're gonna see is him get interrupted
by Gunther.
Exactly, and I actually think that Cena versus Gunther is going to, I guess, main event the first night of WrestleMania. I think that's a good run.
Could.
And I think Cena puts Gunther over in a hell of a matchup. You got to put the title on last. Triple H booking, that's how he thinks. And I think they're going to bank on John Cena's name value and the star that he is to be able to really put some shine on Gunther.
And I know that people are, you know, saying that Cena's probably going to come back. He's going to win the world title at some point this year to beat the record. I don't think Cena really cares about beating the record. At this point, he's already tied the record. And, like, if you really go back in history, it's like some of the Flair wins, they don't really even recognize. So didn't he win it more than 16 times anyway? I don't know. I think with Cena already being at 16 is good enough. Now I could see him maybe beating Gunther. I don't know. Maybe he beats Gunther at like Elimination Chamber, and then at WrestleMania they bring it back and Gunther beats him. But I don't really think Cena needs to be going out on top for all these matches. But he definitely does need to win some matches. He can't just go and lose every single match of his, you know, last year run.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think they're going to utilize the record of world titles in the money-making aspect of the match, where we don't, as fans, know where they're going to go. I'll be interested to see. Now, Cena can talk his ass off. Gunther's a star, and he's kind of just on the teetering edge of really drawing money. So if you're going to put that as a main event for the world title, to get that title over and to also get Gunther over, I think those are the two big goals. You're going to really have to dig into whatever the hook is of this story, whether it's Gunther bloodying up Cena and letting him lay multiple weeks in a row, or Gunther interjecting himself into the Rumble and eliminating John to try to, you know, really shit on his name. Cena sucks and he's never been great. I'll be interested because you really have to, you know, the world heavyweight title right now is not enough to just main event a WrestleMania.
No, it's got to have a good
story. And Gunther's
story.
not enough either. He's a great in-ring guy, but he's not enough. Cena is not enough. So I'll be interested to see how they tie that all together to really make us want to see and really make us interested who's going to win.
And you know what they say, two-faced rappers walk away with four shiners.
What a lyric. What a lyric.
Yeah, I think Cena comes out, like you said, cuts the promo, and he's going to get interrupted by Gunther. But I think it's, all in all, like we said, this is going to be a jam-packed Raw.
It's going to be sick, man. And this is
I'm
where you'll really
for
see. I really think you'll see the road to WrestleMania kick off on Monday.
Yeah,
now,
yeah. I'm definitely excited for that.
Before we get to Mania, how do you see the Rumble shaking up, Chris? We'll start with the Women's Rumble. Who do you got?
I mean, I feel like either Charlotte or Becky's going to come back, and one of those two are going to win the Rumble. To me, it's there's only a handful of people that really should be winning it. I was going to say Tiffany Stratton should win it, but she already just cashed in her Money in the Bank, so that's kind of a no-go. I could see, depending on who wins, Liv and Rhea, the other one winning the Rumble. So I would say if Rhea doesn't win the title, she's going to definitely win the Rumble. Or it could be like a Rhea and Charlotte at the end, but I could almost see Charlotte Flair winning the Rumble and maybe taking her shot at Tiffy, and that's how they get that match going.
That's exactly how I see it going, Big Heart. And it's interesting, Charlotte spent most of her career in the WWE and NXT as the greatest wrestler, certainly greatest women's wrestler of her time. Really nobody, I mean, she had great matches with Becky. She had great matches with Bayley, great matches with Rhea. But nobody was as big as her, as strong as her, as athletic as her. She was head and shoulders the man, diamonds are forever. Now, that's not necessarily the landscape when she comes back. Now, she hasn't been a full-time wrestler for a long time. I think she makes the big return at Rumble, and she enters the shark-filled waters of the women's roster now. I mean, she has people that are over just as big as her now. So I think she wins. I think her and Tiffany at Mania, I could see Charlotte winning the title again. Yeah. And I think there's money with Charlotte and one women's superstar, and her name is Jade Cargill. I see Jade and big. Charlotte. You have Jade, who is bigger, who is stronger, and is just itching to become a star. She hasn't necessarily, done it in the ring, but I think right now what we're seeing with Jade on the hook, I think we're seeing Jade and Charlotte in the Performance Center right now, working out their 2025 storyline.
Yeah, that's definitely a good one. Yeah, Jade and Charlotte would be a great match. But the men's is a little bit different. I mean, there's just so many. There's so many ways it could go, Oh, I like that cup, and that's a shoot, brother. I could see
winning men's Rumble.
I could see a lot of people winning though. I mean, I would almost like to see The Rock come in and win. I could see Roman Reigns winning the Royal Rumble because that puts him in the main event. Right. Even though he's already going to be in the main event, whether he wins the Rumble or not, doesn't really matter. But at least this is a way to just do it without having to crush someone else's story. I could see CM Punk or Seth Rollins going in and winning, but I think my top choice would just be to have Roman Reigns win this Royal Rumble. He won back in 2014. Nobody wanted it. I did. I'll tell you, I was one of the only people in the whole arena actually cheering for Roman Reigns that night. But I think him winning it now, after everything else that he's been through on the 10-year journey from 2014, beating The Undertaker at WrestleMania, even though it wasn't, he didn't beat the streak, but he still beat The Undertaker. Just coming back from being fed dog food by Baron Corbin, all the Lesnar matches. And I mean, I love Lesnar and Reigns matches, but Lesnar just won repeatedly over and over and over. And then Roman Reigns finally beat Lesnar. Just keep Bill Goldberg away from Roman Reigns, please. But I think Roman wins. I think it turns it into possibly a triple threat with Cody and Rock, or they're going to have Rock and Cody main event night 1, and then the winner of that is going to face a Roman night 2, because Reigns is a night 2 main eventer. I don't care what anybody says. That's how it's going to be. If there's 2 nights of WrestleMania, Roman Reigns is on night 2. If there's 3 nights, Roman Reigns is on 3 nights. If it's a 14-day festival, he's probably going to be on 7 out of the 14 nights. But he's definitely getting that main event spot at WrestleMania, and I think it's going to be a 3-way. I think that would be a great match for Rock. This way he doesn't have to be in there with a one-on-one match because, I mean, last year with that tag match, Rock did great. It didn't
Rock
look like he lost a step. So I think that 3-way would be great. I know that they've already done 2 years in a row of Cody and Roman, but this year it's flipped around. This year Cody's the champ, and I think him holding the title for the full year and losing it at Mania isn't going to hurt him at all. I think he can win it back a couple months after. Maybe he comes back and wins it back at SummerSlam. Because I do like Cody as the champ. He is a pretty good head of the company. You know what I mean? Like Roman Reigns
with KO, it's great right now. The Winged Eagle, all that was awesome.
Yeah, and Roman Reigns is great. He's on top no matter what. I mean, he could be on top fighting for the Ula Fala, and people are going to think that it's great. You know what I mean? It's all about how you portray the story, because you could have such a great story revolved around a stupid item. You know what I mean? Like the whole bracelet with CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, the Ula Fala. I mean, these things are they mean nothing to the normal person. But, when they make it mean so much. And the Ula Fala really does mean a lot in the Samoan culture, because they literally have videos of Peter Maivia, Afa, and Sika all wearing it while they were performing. So
I think a couple things. The Ula Fala will get over huge. That will mean the world.
The Ufalafa.
To the professional wrestling world. That'll mean the world. A couple things. Roman Reigns. Let's not forget, he just spent 5 years on top, main eventing everything, and drawing the most money, and getting Raw on Netflix, and getting WrestleMania 40 over. Stop it. Put some respect on his name. He is one of the greatest, probably the greatest professional wrestler of my lifetime since I've been watching. Okay, let's get that out there. Number 2, as a lifelong wrestling fan, this is the first Royal Rumble, and I'm super pumped for it. That's why I put a little thing in the group chat. Shout out to Shelly and Zapper. I'm excited for our draft this year. Hopefully we all get together. That's what I was looking for. Hopefully someone to say, I'll have it at my place. I don't give a shit. But I know whatever. This is the first WrestleMania first Royal Rumble as a lifelong wrestling fan that I don't need special entrances this year. There's so much story going on and so many guys that I'm interested to see how they work, how it all shakes up, that I don't need the big Kevin Nash coming back spot. This is the first time that I want to see the current stories play out in live time in that squared circle. I don't need the big spots. Couple things. This year at Royal Rumble, there's going to be 2 things that I think that will go away talking about. I think you're going to see, again, Punk and Seth interject themselves. But again, the story is not going to be for titles. It's going to have to be that blood feud. And I think you're going to have Punk almost over Seth and going after the world title and trying to win the Rumble. And I think you're going to have Seth sacrifice himself to eliminate Punk and keep him from winning a title in the WWE in the current era. I think you're going to have Seth trying to save the WWE and almost Mick Foley clothesline himself over, eliminating himself to take out Punk, right? And that's going to really bring Punk back to Seth and have this kind of no DQ blow-off match at Mania where they tear it down. That's where you'll see.
I think he's going to try to keep Punk away from the main event.
Right.
Because that's what Punk wants, is that main event spot.
Hook.
So
that's the story of that program. Now, number 2, I agree with you, Big Heart. I think Roman wins this year's Royal Rumble. Meaning, I think you're going to have Rock as the High Chief starting on Monday. And Rock trying to take back the power of the world title, and he is that Mr. McMahon figure. He is on the board. He is the high chief. He has the Ulafala. And that's going to be enough where he's going to start calling out Cody. Now, how does Roman interject himself into that? Roman's going to win this year's Rumble. He's going to try to have this burning urge that's inside him to get everything back that he once had. Sit at the head of the table as the tribal chief, but also the undisputed world champion. And I think where you go with that could be a million different ways. And the interesting part, I think that match is booked, but I do not think at this point in time that the finish is called. I think throughout the story, the crowd is going to tell us where Triple H is going to go with his pencil. So if Cody can, do enough where the crowd is behind him enough where he is still the man and still, no one's going to take my, I worked my whole career. I left. I started a new company. I blonded my hair out. I got this neck tattoo. I'm doing everything. I'm the John Cena, the quarterback. No one's going to take my shit. Or are you going to have Rock where he is still the final boss and he is the man? Maybe we put the title on him. Or is Roman going to turn face enough where the crowd is so behind him where let's give it back to Roman. Let's let him run. I think you're going to see that match booked, but the finish won't be booked until the week of or the day.
Yeah, that's
so
exactly.
It's going to heat up on Monday, the road to WrestleMania. Rumble this year, again, you don't need all the big entrances of Edge coming back Cope coming back. You are going to have enough storyline throughout that match. It'll be one of the greatest Royal Rumbles of all time, and you just want to see who wins.
Yeah, I'm excited for this year's Rumble, and once we get past the Rumble, then we'll really kind of see the wheels in motion of, where Mania is going, because there's a lot of stories being played out right now, and I think the Rumble, even if you're not the winner, there's a lot of room to have stories being told in the Royal Rumbles. I mean,
100%.
Go back to Shawn Michaels and Undertaker, where Taker didn't want to face Shawn Michaels, and that all came together with a feud before the Rumble, but with Shawn Michaels coming and eliminating the Undertaker and kind of set the wheels even more in motion. So, like you said, the CM Punk and Seth Rollins, they might not be fighting for titles, but I think it's going to come into a pride type of thing. And I think the whole Gunther and John Cena aspect, that might play into the Royal Rumble. The Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes and The Rock and the Bloodline. I think a lot of the Bloodline members are going to be in the Royal Rumble, and it's going to be Roman kind of fighting for his life. I could even see a spot where it's, Roman Reigns in there, and it's him and Tama Tonga, and then Solo comes in, and then Jacob Fatu is the next entrant, and it's 3-on-1 until someone else comes in, and then the music hits, and it's Jey Uso coming in, or Sami Zayn. I think they're going to have about 5 or 6 different big stories playing out in the Royal Rumble, and I'm definitely excited for that. And like you said, I'm hoping that we all get together and do our draft like usual, and
100% we will.
We got a lot of good stuff to look forward to in wrestling, and I think this year, me and the Softy are going to try to get more videos out. We've been slacking here on ourselves, so Hard and Soft Nation, we're coming at you hard this year.
Well, and I have one New Year's resolution, and that is to be as soft as possible.
Well, I don't know if you can even get any softer.
You haven't seen nothing yet. And that's a shoot, my brother.
Spend my days working hard on the go. Put the hands on the clock. Keep spinning too slow. 'Cause I can't wait to be alone with my baby. Oh, that's a great song, man.
You never give me the finish.
Yeah, well, you got to pay for the finish. You gotta upgrade to the premium version of the Hard.
That's on our Patreon.
Yeah, it's on the Patreon. But yeah, I mean, let us know in the comments what you guys think of what's going to happen in Raw on Netflix, and where you think the future of the year is going to go.
Yeah, and I'm excited to keep trying to predict where we're going to go for both nights of Mania. Right now, I got Randy and Kevin going to be a story. where Randy and I think, and this is just how I'm thinking right now, I think Randy and Kev are going to have their blow off. They're going to start heating up here. And then I think Randy is the next guy if Cody still has the title.
Yeah, I think so
get that
too.
Randy Cody program.
Elimination Chamber.
I think Dom and Logan versus Ray and Penta. I think Punk and Seth. I think Cena, Gunther, and then again the main event of WrestleMania this year, Rock, Roman versus Cody. But I think that's all going to change as we go down this road, and I'm excited to keep going with you, Big Hard. But I just got one thing to say, and that's if you're not hard, you're soft.
You're damn right,
brother.